Broadcasting live to the dead from our location somewhere south of heaven, 1031 on your radio dial with 666 megawatts of power.
By the sound of the mortuary bells, it's now the witching hour, in time to conjure that putrid pair, that diabolical duo of Casualty Chris and Father Malone, and another ectoplasmic episode of Chronicles from the Crypt.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Chronicles from the Crypt.
Hello there, I'm Casualty Chris.
And this is Father Malone.
And we are the hosts of Chronicles from the Crypt, a twice-a-month look at the cult horror anthology series, Tales from the Crypt, that originally aired on HBO from 1989 to 1996.
Now, every episode of this podcast, we're going to be looking at 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt, and along the way, we're going to be doing some bonus episodes covering some more tangentially related material, like a kids' game show and a cartoon, and some of the movies that are related to Tales from the Crypt.
And not to kind of spoil a surprise early, but the children's show and the game show are really, really fucking bad.
Oh, they're absolute garbage.
They are some of the worst examples of like branded schlock entertainment from the 90s that I think I have seen in a long time.
Indeed they are.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about that just yet. We're going to be talking about that somewhere down the road once we kind of get past Demon Night and Bordello of Blood, unfortunately. We'll be talking about some of those things later down the road. However, on this episode, we are going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 1 and 2. So this is the beginning of Season 3. It's an exciting time for all of us. Halfway through this season, we're going to be halfway done with the show.
Wow.
So, right? Am I right in that statement?
I believe so. What did I think? 7 seasons, so that'll be it.
Yeah. Yep, so that'll be it. So,
Chris, we have a guest at the door.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, you should be afraid. Now let me in.
Don't open it. Don't do it. He's come a long way, but don't do it. This is a trick. You know what? He might. I don't care what he's going to tell us. This guy's one big undead asshole.
Don't listen to him, Padre.
I'm letting him in.
This is, you know what? This is a mistake.
Yeah, like your whole life, Casualty. Yeah, come on now. Introduce me, sucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, what can I say about this undead asshole? He is the absolute worst. He is the terror from Transylvania, the scourge of the South, a total turd. Total turd.
Oh, that is so sweet, Casualty.
I'd say welcome, but you are not welcome here, Mr. Mitten.
Malone, I got something for you, too. Grab my trunk. It's on the carriage.
Your carriage?
Malone, that's Irish, right?
Yeah, it is.
I got a joke.
Okay, you will not be telling any racist jokes on this podcast, sir.
I am no racist, Casualty Chris. I hate all the living equally. You know that. By the way, Casualty Chris, that's a bit of a mouthful. Can I just call you CC?
No chance, Fancy Pants, not on your life, or your undead life. But I am curious what the joke is.
Oh, aside of the number of your listeners. Okay,
hey, go
never
fuck
mind.
yourself. Go fuck yourself, Eminem.
You love me and we love you. Okay, here it is. Are you ready? Here's the joke. Why did the god let the Irish invent whiskey?
Oh, I feel like I'm regretting this even before I hear the punchline. But I'll set you up with a softball. Why?
So they wouldn't take over the world.
Hilarious.
Oh, what? You don't get it? It's funny because there is no god.
So why have you come to our neck of the crypt to bother us this evening?
What? Like, can't a creature from beyond just hang out with his 2 favorite shock jocks?
You know, if I were a shock jock, I'd talk more like this. But I'm not a shock jock, so you must have the wrong impression about what we do here.
Well, you are a shock jock because it is shocking you have this show. Hold on. I'll tell you what, CC. As you know, I'm a world-renowned composer.
I'd appreciate it if you stopped calling.
Well, it's not going to happen. Anyway, CC, as you know, I'm a world-renowned composer, and I've been thinking about you a lot lately.
I hope it is not in the comfort of your own bed with a bottle of lotion next to it.
I don't need the lotion. My hands are silky smooth.
Yikes. Oh, that's glad that it didn't get that way on their own.
Oh, no. Listen. Don't banter with me, son. I've come up with a little ditty, and I think it's going to illuminate an aspect of your life. You know, Chris, CC, you know music transcends language.
I swear to God, if you call me that again, I'm gonna hang this shit up on you right now.
I'm in the room with you, buddy.
You know what? If you call me that again, I will forcibly remove you from...
Oh, I can't wait to see you try that. Anyway, CC, I know you're happy.
Knock it off.
Okay, all right. I'm just joking. I'm just having some fun with my good friend, Casualty Chris. Now, listen, Casualty, or is it Chris? I know you're a happily married man, but I wanted your female listeners to understand what a deeply sensual man you are.
Oh, well, this is going to be good. I can only imagine that there's no way that this could be any worse than it already is.
It's going to be fantastic. I have an ode, a little tune I have written. It is about the virility of Mr. Casualty Chris. Are you ready? Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. It's funny because it's true.
You know what? I think it's time we wrap this up, you putrid pest.
Oh, but wait! There's more! Malone!
What are you, dead Billy Mays all of a sudden?
Oh, I'm just funning you, CC. Listen, here, I have a gift for both of you. It's right in there in my trunk.
I'm not reaching in there. I'm not even touching it.
You know what? You don't have to, friend.
It better not be a soggy sock filled with something, because I'm not reaching into that sock to pull out whatever it is.
I don't use socks, my friend.
Oh God, this
I just let it lay wherever it lies. Now listen.
Oh my God! You know what? If we look at whatever this is, will you just fucking leave already?
Maybe. Yes. Okay. Yes. Listen. I'm not an unreasonable creature, but I did bring a gift for both of you. I scoured the markets of the Mystic East, and I wanted to bring you something, particularly you, Casualty Chris, that will remind you of me every time you look at it.
All right, fine. You know what? If we open this, will you leave?
Yes. I will go back into the mist of time.
Okay, then you know what? Fine. Papa Legba, Mr. Man, Mr. Midnight. Mr. Midnight, if we open this and you leave, then we'll open it. If it's a promise that you're promising us that you're going to leave, then fine, we'll open it.
Did you call me Papa Legba?
Maybe.
That dude owes me money.
Oh, well, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, don't confuse us, because I wouldn't confuse you with Malone over there. Now let's get to it, shall we? You ready? Here it is.
Fine, go ahead, open your chest, your footlocker, your trunk. Go ahead and open the trunk. Go right for it.
Here we go.
Oh my God, who let all these bats in here?
Ah, quick! Close the door! There's so many bats in this studio!
Oh, aren't they sweet? You know the best part of it, fellas? You will never get rid of them.
You know what? Out of here. Take it and leave. Get your trunk, get your sock filled with whatever, and get back to wherever the fuck you came from. M.M.
All right, listen, I'm gonna go. And it'll be hard to hear beneath all of the screeching, but listen close. As I walk out the door, that horrible sound is the sound of your ratings dropping into the 9th level of hell. Farewell, suckers!
Hold on, I got him. Just put him in this door here. Okay. There.
Let's get right into it with the first of 2 episodes we're going to be talking about, Loved to Death.
Dying for a date? Aching for a little prick of passion? Well, be careful what you wish for. Or like the young man in tonight's terror tale, you may just get it. I call this nauseating number Loved to Death.
Loved to Death aired June 15th, 1991. It is directed by Tom Mankiewicz, otherwise known as...
Mank.
Yeah, Mank. You were the one who told me about that. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. Tom Mankiewicz, screenwriter for Superman, although his name is not in the writing credits for that movie.
But this episode is written by Tom Mankiewicz and Joe Minion. It stars Andrew McCarthy, Mariel Hemingway, and the superbly cast, however pretty underutilized, David Hemmings. And it's a boy wants girl doesn't care about dorky screenwriter boy, so he gives her a love potion that goes awry. We've seen this before, I think is what I'm getting at. And I don't know if I'm speaking just for you, Mike, but I'm speaking for myself here. Why are you opening this season with this episode?
That seems to be a constant now.
Right? Just like really mediocre stuff opening the seasons of this show.
Yeah, not a spectacular episode. I don't hate the episode. I just wonder why they would go with this, other than they have Mariel Hemingway naked at one point.
And, that's a pretty
Nothing
good
wrong with
reason.
that.
Nothing wrong with that. She's she's very attractive, and they do a very good job of like playing up her sexiness in this episode by having her in lingerie half of the episode. It feels
at least
like.
half, yeah.
But it's a bad episode. It's not great. It and like the kicker at the end is, God, it's. Yeah. I wanted to like it. I feel like Mankiewicz and Minion were like laughing to themselves when they were like, haha, this is going to be really funny. But it's not. It just kind of falls flat.
Okay, so now this is a rare episode of Tales from the Crypt in that it is based on a Tales from the Crypt comic. This was Tales from the Crypt.
They can't seem to get that right, can they?
No, man, but this is issue number 25 of Tales from the Crypt, which incidentally was the same issue that Judy, You're Not Yourself Today is from.
Another
winner. But the story itself was written by Al Feldstein. The original art was by Jack Kamen. It is it's very similar, the comic story, to what we get on screen. It's a bit more pared down, as the comics tend to be. It is just a guy in love with a girl, and she won't give him the time of day. So he goes to an alchemist who gives him a love potion, and then pretty much it ends almost exactly the same way as what we got on screen. But here, the adaptation is now that he is a frustrated screenwriter. He just arrived in Los Angeles, living in this bizarro, weirdo apartment building, rather. And
which we never see outside of. We never see outside of the apartment building.
That is true.
This
so
episode
kind
feels
of a bottle
like
episode.
insane. Yeah, it also feels insanely cheap on top of everything else. And I'm talking cheap in like the amount of time and effort that was put into shooting this episode.
I'm going to wholeheartedly agree with you. I often say this, like an episode can rise or fall in my estimation in just how well it is shot. This is not shot very well at all. The sort of lobby, or the fifth floor lobby that we keep seeing, looks like a set, like down to the elevator, like doesn't even have grooves where the door meets the floor. It's just clearly a door they're pulling aside from some stagehand. I should point out that Kathleen Freeman is also in this episode as some sort of bizarre neighbor there. I think most people would remember her as the Penguin in the Blues Brothers, but she's a really great comedic actress. I think she enlivens the episode a bit. Having said that, I actually do like this episode. I think once it gets going, and it takes too long to get there, man. But like once she has taken the love potion and will not leave him alone, I thought that was actually pretty funny and pretty good. But let's talk David Hemmings for a second. What'd you think?
I mean, David Hemmings was great, right?
Yeah,
but
man.
I thought he was. Yeah, but I thought he was really underutilized, and also his character wasn't really given, in my mind, a believable entrance into the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's the manager of this apartment building, and nobody has ever seen him, we're told, and he communicates via a speaker box outside his apartment door, and he has a camera that he's watching everybody at all times.
He reminds me of Shikadance. He reminds me of Shikadance from Ace Ventura, like that, very gravelly, gruff-voiced landlord, like Ventura, like the same thing. But the problem is that character isn't played by a character, a character actor with the gravitas of David Hemmings.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, every time they cut to him, I think it's really cool. But yeah, we're not really given. It's one of those things where they attempt to give us the sort of MacGuffin and give us a backstory for this guy and what he might be up to, but then they don't really go all the way with it. And the MacGuffin itself, just a regular old love potion, like, is something that they should have somehow made better. I don't know, like. It's like an easy holdover from the comics where they could have come up with something more interesting.
Well, and the other thing about it is when you don't have a character who has a logical entry into the story, it just feels forced. And like I know that this is Tales from the Crypt, and I know that you should suspend belief, but like the amount of belief suspension here goes too far because you don't understand how, like, who is he? Why is he doing this? Like, yeah. I know that a little bit of backstory and exposition sometimes can weigh down a story, but I think it needed it because every other time we've seen something like this, there's a little bit of exposition. Like, Only Sin Deep, we understand why he's doing it with, like, taking the women's beauty. We understand why he's taking it. We don't understand how or how he learned to, but there needs to be a character motivation because I genuinely don't understand what David Hemmings' character motivation is in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, and that can be fine, but then we should know less about him, maybe, or more. I don't know. It's so tantalizing what we're presented that we actually end up wanting to know more. And
I think what would have been better is instead of showing David Hemmings, just having Andrew McCarthy interacting with like a drop slot where like he's like, here, take this, and it just like comes out of the chute.
Yeah, that could have been more interesting.
Right? Because like don't give us as much as they gave us and then not give us any more than that. Because it is inherently interesting like what his character has to offer to the story.
Yeah, and I wonder if that is because David Hemmings is kind of a magnetic personality and not so much like what we're given or what we're shown.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not a love triangle episode, but it's not far from other things we've seen in that similar vein. And I'm just not entertained anymore. Like, I don't care how many variations there are on this formula, but like, it's not interesting anymore. It's just not.
And can we just talk for a second? Like, now, Andrew McCarthy is the hero of this story. Like, we're supposed to be following him, right? But he's a real creep.
Yeah, well, he is. And, like, that's why I don't understand the story, because we're meant to be sympathetic towards him, but not really, and I don't get it. Because he's a fucking weirdo. Like,
yeah,
he is
completely.
Literally at one point watching Mariel Hemingway take her top off and her breasts are exposed, and he's like, like, you know, like his tongue is hanging out of his mouth. I mean, not really, but like you can see his intercogs working. He's like, oh God, yum. And it's like, dude, you're a fucking freak, man. Like, get out of here.
Not to mention, like, she invites him, like, she's very, very nice in dealing with him, like, invites him for a drink and whatever. But then, like, when he comes back to the apartment, she's very square with him about what their relationship is going to be, which is it's not going to happen, maybe someday. Like, he turns into this flight of fancy where he imagines her as his, like, screenwriting character and then goes and, like, puts his arms around her while she's talking on the phone. It was like, she punches him in the face, but I was like, go further. Like, this guy, you know, she should have called the cops at that point.
And look, the whole conceit that David Hemmings gives Andrew McCarthy a love potion that he gives to Mariel Hemingway and she falls in love with him, it's not creative and it's not well done in this episode. And you can see where it's going from, like, the moment he offers him the love potion, because we've seen it in other episodes. Oh God, what was the episode with the voodoo?
The voodoo one,
yeah, the voodoo one where it's like he comes back and then he's fucking the corpse at the end. Like, this is just a variation on that, isn't it?
Yeah, and that at least had awesome makeup.
Right, exactly. And there was like a head on a platter. Like, that was cool. But this is just really...
Not to mention...
then the makeup at the end is like... I swear to God, I don't know what they were thinking.
It was god-awful.
How do you fall out of a window and that's all that happened to you?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
How does that even translate? Like,
and is this the Beetlejuice school of the afterlife where however you died, like, you're going to remain that way forever? Because, you know, they don't do that in the comic. And in the comic,
there's Elvis. That's exactly what that reminded me of.
Yeah, in the comic, it's enough of a sting that he's now trapped with her forever. They don't mangle her in any way. I think this was one of those, like, well, it's Tales from the Crypt, so we got to give them a bit of gore here at the end, but then they don't give us anything of value at all. It's just, she just looks like some, like, first-year makeup student, like, said, like, this is what it would look like if she smashed her face on the concrete, I guess. I don't know. Not to mention, he gets the love potion. And then he comes back to her apartment. He's like, I just want to apologize. Let's have this wine together. What right-thinking person is going to go, yeah, come on in, and I'm going to leave you alone with these glasses? And, I don't know. There's so much wrong with the episode. Ultimately, I like it, but there are a multitude of problems.
I wanted to like it, and I like Andrew McCarthy in most things I've seen him in, especially Mannequin. But this episode, I think, is just one of these stupid love triangle relationship episodes too many. And look, it was too many 5 times ago. Now it's just like, I'm really done. And I know that there are more coming. I know that there's like a episode with Hector Elizondo in it this season that is just like the complete drizzling shits. And I'm so not ready for that. But I'm going to tell you something. I honestly forgot that this episode existed.
Oh, I remembered it. I remembered it just because, I remember her sort of attacking him in bed. But then, I was 18 years old, so of course
he's
I'm going to remember
fucked out,
man. Yeah, I'm all fucked out. Well, I'm not all fucked out. She's real good in the episode. It needs to be said.
And there's one scene where he is like trying to get past her in the doorway, and she looks 10 times larger than him.
Oh my
God,
looks
like
she's
she could
a
pick
giant.
him up and snap him over her knee.
Which also could have been something interesting where she literally can force him to stay with her, which they did not delve into. Ultimately this is supposed to be a careful what you wish for episode, but really this guy is such a creeper that I think he really deserves it, and they kind of went the wrong way with it. Like they should have leaned into that maybe.
No, it should totally have been a, you get what you deserve because you're a piece of shit, not careful what you wish for. Because there's nothing redeeming about him.
No, I mean even his weirdo fantasies where they keep bastardizing the It's a Wonderful Life poster with like suddenly her face is there and then his face, and just like, oh my God, man, like, the worst of LA right there.
Yeah, it's a little heavy-handed, and by a little I mean a lot. So Mankiewicz, this is not his finest moment.
No, I mean, I don't know. You can't take away the man with the golden gun from him, which he wrote. So good screenwriter, not such a great director. And I actually don't think it was him who wrote it. There was another Mankiewicz's name on it, so I'm going to assume that's one of his cousins.
No. Yeah, totally not Tom Mankiewicz who wrote this.
So, throwing a bone to the family, I guess.
I think though for me it is a skip.
I'm going to give it a watch. Actually, I think the performances are worthwhile. When the love potion finally gets introduced, I think that whole section is really kind of funny. And obviously, I think David Hemmings lends a creep factor that is missing from a lot of the episodes of Tales from the Crypt. So I'll say watch this one.
He won't get out. He won't get out. He won't get out of those clothes.
Okay, that was good, man. I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh God.
Hey, Chris, Hecuba is signaling. We have a call on line 3. Now, this is pretty exciting. I think we have a Dybbuk calling in.
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, you're on the air, caller.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. You're Dybbuk? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a Dybbuk. I'm the Dybbuk. What up, homie?
No, you're not a Dybbuk.
Yeah, I totally am. What makes you say I'm not?
Well, I would have to go with that voice.
Yeah, your voice, for one thing.
What's wrong with my voice? You want it more like this?
I am the infernal demon from hell known as the Dybbuk.
Yeah, that's a little bit closer what I was expecting.
Yes, that's exactly what it should be.
Well, it's not. I talk like this. Deal with it.
Okay. What can we do for you, Dybbuk?
Well, I got a request, and I want to dedicate it to my shorty, the Casilum. Can you play Lionel Richie's Penny Lover?
We don't play records, Dybbuk.
I guess the real question I have right now is why does the Dybbuk want to hear Lionel Richie to begin with?
He's the shit. All the night creatures dig on Lionel.
Well, we don't do that.
Well, who the hell am I calling? What do you guys do?
We're a review show. We review episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
A sitcom from the 90s?
If you think it's a sitcom, sure, but last time I checked, it's not.
Then why is it so hilarious?
Is it?
I think so. Okay, no requests. Gotcha. Am I the 13th caller at least? Did I win those Blue Oyster Cult tickets?
Are all Dybbuk's as confused as you are? Because we don't give away tickets. We don't play records. We just review tales from the crypt.
Boring. Later to you, losers.
Hit line number 2.
All right, who are we talking to?
Hello, yes. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Do you have some thoughts on tonight's episodes, caller?
Not tonight, no. I have some thoughts on the series as a whole.
Oh boy, this should be good.
Yes, well, I think overall, the show would have a marked improvement if it had more episodes about vampires.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and assume you're a vampire.
Well, that is correct.
Shocked. Absolutely shocked. You might even say that I have a stake driven through my chest. I'm so surprised.
Oh, no, don't sass me, Casualty Chris. I'll make your nickname a reality.
That's uncalled for, caller.
Ah, do not tell me how to behave, Malone. Priests, do not frighten me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So more vampires on the show. Is that it?
No, that is not it. I would also enjoy more love triangles.
Oh yeah, because that's what we need. There haven't been enough of those already. Are you an immortal vampire as well? I'm assuming that's the assumption here if you're a vampire.
That is correct.
How old would you say you are?
Well, I can't say for sure, but I was born in the foothills of the Carpathians 400 years ago.
But you're not the vampire, you're a vampire. You're not name-redacted vampire. You're not Dracula, right?
No, I'm not Dracula. It's a fairy tale. I am real and much more powerful.
Okay, so what kind of a vampire are you particularly? I mean, there's lots out there. Would we have heard of you?
Well, I have assumed many personas through the centuries, but all quake in fear when they hear my name whispered on the midnight winds. I am the Devil's Son, the Night Walker. I am the Crucifer of Blood. I am Kevin.
Yeah, so...
What, are you not terrified?
Am I supposed to be?
Well, yes, of course. This is Kevin calling you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, caller. Is there anything else? Because we kind of got to get back to the show here.
Well, actually, yes. Can I make a request?
I swear to God, if it's a Lionel Richie song, I'm going to hang up.
No. Yes.
This is ridiculous. How many times have we had this conversation with him?
Too many. Hey, Hecuba?
You know what? Don't wave me off with those weirdo claws of yours. Get in here. I don't care if you want to be on the air now. Get on the mic, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Hecuba is our engineer.
And a damn good one.
No question. But you can tell the listeners how many times we've gone over the protocol for the callers. Yeah, man, I've lost count too. What is the protocol? Uh-huh. Yep. Right, and then what? What do you mean you don't know? Find out their name. Got that? Find out where they're calling from first. What kind of creature they are, but then you have to find out what the hell they're calling about. You are on thin ice, Hecuba. Do you know that?
Chris, he's a Yeti. I don't think thin ice is much of a threat to him. No, we will not turn up the AC. Get back on the board.
Unbelievable. All right, let's just move on. Let's just keep going.
Oh my God. Okay. This is a call that I've been hoping we would get for a long, long time. Not only is it a ghost, but it's actually ghost royalty in a way. Hecuba, this had better not be a joke.
Yes, caller?
Yeah, man. Am I on the air?
Yes, you are actually, and we are under the impression that you are a celebrity ghost?
No, you're GD right, I am, baby.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're the king?
Oh, no, man. There's only one king. He reigns over this world and the one you're in now. That's the Burger King. Little joke there.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just assume you are who you say you are, and this is not a prank. We are actually speaking to Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. How is the afterlife treating you, Mr. Presley?
Oh, man, it's great. It's an endless supply of fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. And I'm live and I'm trimmed. It's like 1968 all over again.
And I'm assuming in heaven you don't get any, or hell, depending on where you are, you don't get any of that peanut butter on your black leather jumpsuit, huh?
Oh, no, man. No. There's none of that here. I'm in heaven. How dare you disparage where I might be? There's only one place for the king, and that is on high.
So, aside from where you are, which, again, like, you could be in hell and just not telling us, the assumption that I am making now is you are somehow, even though it was before your time, at least the show was, you are a fan of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, man, I am silly for that show, Chris. You know, I read them comics back in the 1950s. I loved them so much. But when the TV show came on, you know, I didn't have a chance to see it because I was, deceased.
Is that the way this works?
Well, I mean, you know, if you're not alive, you tend to miss what's going broadcast on the air. At least that's what I thought. But, you know, the thing about being a ghost is, once you figure it all out, it took me a while, man. But you can catch up on whatever you want. You know, the way the astral plane works, I've seen shows that ain't even been made yet. You boys want to know how the Game of Thrones ends?
No. Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Is it at least satisfying?
Oh, man, no. Well, it does. I don't know. Oh, maybe. Let me just say, everyone dies. Not on the show. I mean, everyone.
So what are your thoughts on tonight's episode, Mr. Presley, Mr. Elvis? What should I call you? The King? The peanut butter fried banana sandwich king?
I think you're having some fun with me there, Chris. No, man, you just call me E. And I don't really have any particular thoughts on tonight's episode. I'm just calling because my brother is a big fan of YouTube, but he's a little too shy to call in himself, so I'm calling him for him.
Your brother? You mean the one that you ate in the womb?
Yeah, my brother Jesse Garin. I'm Elvis Aaron. I got a brother named Jesse Garin. Yeah, he did not survive the pregnancy. We can say that, I guess. Yeah, I mean, look, man, we were in there together. His soul looked so delicious, man. I just had to devour it.
Did you eat it with fried peanut butter and bananas?
That would have been the most delicious soul of all time. I was not yet privy to the delights of the peanut butter and banana, particularly when you fry them together. I did not have a frying pan in utero.
But has he forgiven you for eating him?
Oh, man, of course. We're thick as thieves, me and my brother. It's almost like we're of blood. Hey, Jesse, these boys are cool. Come on, get on the extension. You guys will be happy to talk to him, not right?
Hey.
So, we understand that you're a fan of the show?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a pleasure to meet you. We know nothing about you other than you were consumed by your brother in the womb.
Oh, now come on, Jesse. Don't be shy. Say hi to these fellas. You know, Chris, Malone there. You could encourage him. He's shy. Tell him how much you love him.
Okay. This is awkward.
Oh, come on, man. It ain't nothing. Just tell him you love him.
I guess we love you, brother of Elvis who was eaten in the womb?
Yeah, we, love you, Jesse?
You do?
I guess so.
You wanna hold my hand?
Oh, no.
God damn it. Midnight!
Yes, suckers. Oh, I love you, Jesse. You two are so dumb. Say hi to my pal.
What up, dummies? It's the Diddick. Now play me some Lionel Richie.
Hang it up. Just hang up. Just hang. We're hanging it up. We're not calling anymore. You know what, Hackybut? You are the ice is thinner every second. You better start working on your resume because we're done with phone calls. We are out. We are on to the next episode. Carrion death.
Good evening, felons. Time to assume the position, if you know what I mean, and prepare for another assault and battery on your senses. Tonight's seamy saga is about a nice young man with a very bad attitude. In fact, it's positively criminal. I call this little game of chops and clobbers Carrion death.
Episode aired June 15th, 1991. Written and directed by Stephen E. D'Souza and has a whopping 2 cast members. George Del Hoyo and everyone's favorite FBI agent, no, I'm not talking David Duchovny, the other favorite FBI agent, good old K-Mac, Kyle MacLachlan. He plays a sadistic serial killer who is trying to escape from the law and ends up getting caught up in the law in more ways than one. And by that I mean handcuffed directly to a dead police officer in the middle of the desert. This is a good episode. It's a weird episode, but it's a good episode.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Whoa, no, you're not. Really?
I actually am. There's a lot I like in the episode, particularly McLaughlin's performance.
I mean, he's the best part of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, but then I could watch him, eating cereal. Like, he's got that thing.
Could you watch him opposite John Goodman in a Flintstones movie?
I unfortunately have.
That movie's not that bad.
No, it's not great. He's good in it, though. He seems to get the joke more than anybody else. Steven D'Souza, let's talk about him for a second, because, his main claim to fame is writing the original Die Hard film, which can't take that away from him, man. That's a solid screenplay.
You mean the best Christmas movie ever?
Oh, my God, yes. Let's enter that debate once more.
It's not a debate. It's not a fucking Christmas movie. Let's move on.
I go back and forth. I go back and forth with it. No, I mean, I always watch it at Christmas time just because it is a Christmas-themed movie. But, it takes place at Christmas time.
I would say it is not a Christmas-themed movie. It is a movie set at Christmas time.
Correct. But, what better time to watch it than around the holidays?
Any time of the year, it's a good movie. You could watch it
no
whenever.
question. Look, that movie came out in the summer, and everyone enjoyed it in the summer. So
we could literally pause this podcast right now, go and watch it, and come back. And I think you and I would come to the same conclusion that it's a good movie, but it's not a Christmas movie. And people only say that because they can't seem to find any other hip, funny, cool Christmas movies, as if there aren't any. I'm being sarcastic.
Are
there
there?
Totally are. Yeah, there totally are. Have you seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? Come on.
Oy vey. Yeah, I
Don't oy vey me. Don't oy vey me.
Oy.
Ugh.
Calling back to our debate right now.
Anyways, Mr.
Carrion
Hipster
Death.
Man.
So Steve D'Souza, who should know better, sets up some ridiculous things in this episode. Where does Kyle MacLachlan's gun go? He has one at the beginning. He's shooting up the crowd while he's running away. Also, as much as I like it in comic book form and in a theoretical way, a canvas bag with a $sign on it, while I would love to own one, it's probably not what they're putting money in these days, or even back in 1990. Oh my God! Hey, what's in that bag?
How about a
Must be money.
How about a motorcycle that's possessed?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, of the myriad ways you could have them get into an accident together. Like, what was that?
I have no idea. That was like, I didn't remember that happening in the episode, and all I could think when the motorcycle crashed into his car was, couldn't you have just backed up?
Yeah, or driven forward, or done anything except put the car in park and then jump out of it.
It felt like Prometheus logic, and that's what I always call it when it's like a character could have done something smart, but instead did something stupid because that's the way it was written. I mean, Charlize Theron could have run left or right.
Yeah, that's the ultimate.
She ran straight and got run over by the giant alien spaceship. Like, you're just writing the character stupid, and that's really lame. Like, that's a really lame way of writing. It's just, he could have moved. Instead, he goes, whoa, and jumps out of the car instead, as if he's not going to need that car to get to Mexico.
Right. Or, I don't know. That's a really dumb moment. And then, look, okay, so magical motorcycle continues on its path straight ahead, crashes into it. Everything explodes, but then he's able to go get everything out of it. That was a little, and again, where's your gun, dude? You're going to need that gun, because clearly this is a Tales from the Crypt episode.
But he doesn't know he's in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he pretty much does.
Yeah, pretty much.
All of a sudden, a bird's following him, and then a cop is chained to his hand.
Yeah, so,
you know what? Actually, let's talk about the end of the episode where he actually cuts his own wrist.
Yeah, that's another one, man.
God.
Where, Jesus.
You're making me hate this episode, you fuck.
I mean,
you're making me hate this episode. Like, this is not good, but you're right. I think there's a lot of problems with this episode, and I'm not sure Kyle MacLachlan can actually salvage this episode.
He doesn't, because it's bad. Yeah, first of all, not only does he, at the end, accidentally nearly chop his own hand off instead of the cop's hand, because, we all make that mistake from time to time. As soon as...
Because handcuffs have a short chain, sir. That's why.
Yeah, oh, okay. I assumed he was trying to chop the cop's hand off, which, by the way, he should have been doing from the beginning. If I was in the desert trying to get to Mexico, and it was just a couple miles away, and I had a corpse attached to me via handcuffs, and there's plenty of rocks around, I'm going to smash the fuck out of this cop's hand until it slips right through that handcuff. It works as a comic book. Oh, yeah, okay, let me just mention briefly, this is not a Tales from the Crypt.
Break the cop's thumb?
Yeah, you could break every bone in that hand until it's mush, and then just slide it right off. It's so stupid. This is not a Tales from the Crypt episode or issue, by the way. This is a Shock Suspense Stories, as it should be. Shock Suspense Stories number 9, written by Al Feldstein and penciled and inked by Reed Crandall, who is the lesser artist at EC Comics. And it is almost exactly the same. It's actually a little bit better in a way because it's a flock of vultures. Now, clearly, I don't know how they trained this vulture, but that was a good bird, man. Like, he was might be the best performance in it, except for Jesus Christ. Now, I don't know that he did this, but I'm going to guess the bird's vocalizations were done by a voice actor named Frank Welker, who, if you see any bird in any movie in the past 30 years squawking in any way, it's probably Frank Welker doing it. And it's so clear to me that it is a guy in a booth going squawk, every time they need it, that it really pulled me out every time. Like, why does it have to say anything? The bird's presence alone is frightening without it having to menace him in a vocalized way. I don't know. That just bugged the shit out of me while I was watching the episode.
I mean, I would assume it was Frank Welker, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Frank Welker. He's the voice of Dr. Claw, any number of hundreds of voiceover characters.
Fred from Scooby-Doo?
Yes, absolutely right, he is. I mean, look, much love to Frank Welker. I'm not bagging on him. It's just like he went to the same bird well for this particular performance, and like I've heard it 1,000 times, and I was just like, oh my God, really? They couldn't just find some wild footage or sound of what a vulture sounds like. They needed to bring in a guy to do it. Defend the episode if you can.
Well, I came into this thinking I was going to have a lot to say about the episode in a positive, but other than K-Mac having his shirt off and walking around showing off his hot bod, I'm not sure that there is much. And on top of everything else, and this is just a nitpick, and forgive me in advance, fans of the show, because I am you, and I am a fan of the show as much as you are. Showing how the episode ends in the title credit card is really dumb.
Yeah, that was awful. Now, look, if you're coming into it for the first time, maybe you'll forget, but this was not my first time. So once the image of the comic book came up of the vulture pulling out his eyeball, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's how this one ends. And then I'm just waiting for it. And you know what? Even if it was my first time watching it, you throw an image like that up, you're just waiting for that to happen. So, I don't know what they were thinking. The original, in the issue of Shock Suspense Stories, this was the cover as well, Carrion Death. And in it, it's just a guy on the ground, the Kyle MacLachlan character, and he's screaming at the vultures, come on down here and start eating, set me free. That was better. I'm shocked that they decided to go another way, considering it is the end of the episode. And that's a really good effect, actually, when the bird finally does pluck his eye out. I thought that was pretty great.
Well, and that's the thing. I actually really like the way the episode ends, but I think if it had been the flock of vultures and him essentially, saying come kill me please, I think that would have been a lot better than him taunting the bird at the end. But again, that's also the way the character's written in the teleplay. He's written as this bombastic, arrogant piece of shit. Right,
and you know what? This, it always sounds weird to say these things, but I actually think it plucks his one eye out, and then they cut away and cut back, and the other eye is gone. He's clearly dead at that point. And what I would have preferred, psycho that I am, is that it should have been eating him the whole time while he was alive. You know what I mean? Really gone his innards.
I agree, because it made zero sense that all of a sudden he's just dead. Even if you have your eyes plucked out, you're not gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, he should have been screaming the entire, crane out of that shot, that guy deserved it. He was a total psychopath. That could have been good. And and the other thing is, this is a 2-person episode, and we don't get anything from that cop, at all. He mentions a couple of things. He says a couple of lines, he's talking with the bird like it's his partner, which could have been even more interesting had they played that up a little more. When you get down to brass tacks with these, you got two talking characters, let's learn a little bit more about them. I don't necessarily need to know the cop's whole backstory, but maybe they had history, these two. Instead of just a random motorcycle cop who happens to notice the guy on the run, maybe this was the detective who was chasing him the entire time. They should have had some sort of relationship. I think that could have made the episode stronger. I don't know that it would have papered over how lame all of the sort of plot machinations are with the magical bike and, not figuring out a way to get this guy off of him. But, I don't know. It's a miss, man.
Yeah, no, I think I've come around to your way of thinking. I think it's unfortunate more than anything else that this is the only episode Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
Because,
look,
Kyle
it's better than
MacLachlan
most of the
90s
episodes of last season.
Yeah, but Kyle MacLachlan in the 90s was a big deal.
Yeah, he was, certainly at this point.
Yeah, and putting him in this episode... look, I guess it's better than putting him into just a fucking love triangle episode.
Probably as an actor, it's more interesting to be the one on screen the whole time, but...
and he's playing against type. He's
completely,
playing against
type. We never really got psychopath MacLachlan. I guess we did in Twin Peaks there at the very end. But yeah, this was a welcome change for him. I just don't know that Steven D'Souza did him any justice with the script.
I think that there's a lot of really weird plot contrivances that ultimately drag the episode down rather than elevate it past where it could. So I'm going to say skip it.
Skip it as well. Soft skip. I think it's probably a worthy episode. Definitely in comparison to others we've seen so far. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that the ending is worth it.
Well, and I'll say this much. Look, if you like Kyle MacLachlan, you should watch this episode. Just know that there ain't much to it.
Yeah, I can only recommend this in comparison to others. As a, if this was, if I was offering somebody their first entree to Tales from the Crypt, this would not be on the list.
No, agreed. Well, the next two episodes we're going to be talking about are going to be episode 3 and 4 of season 3, The Trap and Abracadaver.
Abracadaver.
One has Beau Bridges in it.
Nice. Oh, okay. Yes, I remember this episode with the in the morgue.
Yes, I believe that is Abracadaver, and I think it has the guy from Tony Goldwyn.
Ah, yes, Tony Goldwyn. He was also big in the early 90s.
He sure was.
Fresh off of his performance in Ghost.
And I've never seen Ghost, so...
It's pretty good.
And the other episode I remember nothing about, but it has Bruno Kirby in it, so...
Ah, well, always.
And that's
welcome.
the one that's directed by Michael J. Fox, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. I definitely remember that one.
But until then, where can people find you, Father Malone?
As always, you can hear me on my YouTube channel. You can hear me and see my handiwork, I guess, because it is a visual medium. I have a channel called Ot5 Films with a show called You've Never Seen. You can check me out there, and you can also hear me on another podcast called Dreams for Sale, The Twilight Zone 85, re-examining the original, not original, but the first remake of The Twilight Zone with...
now that there have been 4...
Yeah, man, too many, but this is the best of them as far as I'm concerned.
If you want to hear our thoughts, go listen to that podcast over at twilightzone85.com. You can find me on my podcast, The Culture Cast, where I am joined by a veritable smorgasbord of guest co-hosts where we sit down and talk movies once a week. It's a lot of fun. Check that out over at culturecast.com. I also do another podcast with our good friend Mike White about Kolchak the Night Stalker. And that one is over at thekolchaktapes.com. Big thanks, as always, to John Kassir. And if you want to check out more episodes of Chronicles from the Crypt, head on over to chroniclesftc.com.
All right. Heckkeeper, where are you going? No, man, do not open that door.
No, the bats! Get the bats
goddamn
out of
bats!
Here! Close the door! The bats are coming in!
Midnight, you bastard.